now call on George Adam to be followed by Cameron McCannon.
Thank you, Presiding Officer. Can I also thank Gordon MacDonald for bringing this debate to the Chamber here today? Because I welcome this debate, and as many of you will be aware, that I represent the great town of Paisley. And we've had many of the challenges that have been mentioned in the retail sector over the past 10 to 15 years. And it tends to be that we are the one that the media will automatically take the picture of the high street to try and make their point and how things have changed so dramatically. But it is the convenience stores that are still within my town centre. As the retail giants have moved out of town, they are still serving and working with the local community. And this is important because there are still a demographic of my constituents who do most of their shopping within the town centre. The elderly and those from poorer backgrounds have more difficulties shopping out of town. And this is borne in the report when it states that convenience stores customers, 78% of them travel less than a mile to use their local store. 58% of the customers travel to their local store by foot, compared to 38% who drive, and 25% of customers use their shop every day. And this is mirrored in my constituency, where there are small pockets of very successful local shops throughout our town. And in order for town centres like Paisley to succeed, we must encourage these stores. We must ensure that they get the opportunity to develop further, because they are the ones that are still contributing to our local economy. And I remember a number of years back when there was initial talk about the reform of welfare, and one of the things that they said with regards to Paisley Town Centre was, from a retail perspective, welfare reform was going to cost Paisley Town Centre about £1 million a year, because again it was the old and the poorer individuals who were shopping in the town centre. So all these things have to be taken into account. And in order, one of the things that they are still the ones that are making sure that we have a local shop to go to. And one of the issues that I found quite interesting was that the top 3 stores that they all want to have in areas is specialist food shops, which is like your traditional butcher and the like, which we still locally have a number of them, and they were extremely busy during the festive period, but they tend to kind of slow up. But it still is the only type of product where you can get that product. And that's where I say that these shops, these independent grocers, these independent stores, are the ones that are going to make our town centres thrive, because they are the ones that are offering that thing that's slightly different. They're offering a service that you can no longer get. They hark back to a time when everybody, the shopkeeper, knew your name and knew who most of his customer base was. And that's something we don't want to lose. Because last week I actually spoke during a debate, ironically it was in lobbying, but I spoke about a bookshop that used to be in Paisley Town Centre. We used to have an independent bookstore. 3 or 4 generations of the same family owned that store. But with the internet, with the chance of being able to buy a book delivered straight to your door, and also with the chance of getting e-books, they just couldn't compete. So you lose something in your town centre when you lose these types of shops. The irony for me is that the rest of the top 3 that they want is banks and post offices, businesses whose business model has been changing over the recent years. And I've constantly been speaking to the Minister with regards to the major banks pulling out of certain areas, but they are part of the retail ecology of every kind of high street and every town centre as well. And they have to take on a responsibility, because obviously all the shop and retailers need them as well. So in closing, Presiding Officer, small retailers, I believe, are the solution to our town centre problems. Once again, I'd like to thank Gordon MacDonald for bringing this debate to the Chamber, and I wish all the retailers all the best. But I would encourage everyone, when they're looking at shopping, to try and shop locally in their own stores. I did it recently over Christmas in my own town for my Christmas presents, and I think we need to lead from the front. We need to make sure that we are supporting these traders as well, because it's all so easy for it to end up going the same way as that bookshop that I mentioned. It's no longer there, and you wonder what happened to it.
Thanks so much.